Week 5, here we come. We've had so much fun throughout the first part of the season, and now getting to that part of the season where I feel like we're starting to learn, we're starting to understand teams, and so we're going to do like our little playoff thing that we did before the season where we said who could possibly make the playoff, and now going back kind of revisiting because we've been slowly hitting people upside the head, as we go along, like whack-a-mole, like, hey, you're gone, you're out of here. We've been getting rid of folks, so we'll continue to see who's alive. We did the playoff bracket. I did that earlier today, Brent, just the top 12 teams that would be in the playoff. My favorite thing is going to be who's at 12 and not in the playoff because people are going to absolutely freaking love that. But I
haven't seen it, by the way. I haven't.
Okay, perfect.
I saw the graphic, but I didn't look at it. So I got nothing. I'm going to be revealing it or seeing it for the first time, just like anybody else.
You will absolutely love it. Let's get weird. And I think the one thing before we get to the SEC scheduling, which is really, really cool, is we have a new addition.
Ooh.
We have a nice, good-looking lid, a team fresh off of a big win, the Texas Tech. Thank you to Joey McGuire. Thank you for the note for contributing to the helmet wall. We got the mounts in now. So, listen, this is piece by piece, bro. We don't build this in a day. This is going to be slow and steady. But Texas Tech, the Big 12 showing out. We getting plenty of helmets from the Big 12 with the love. We got the West Virginia still behind Brent. We got Arizona State down here. So still
was it Joey McGuire or was it Cody Campbell?
It was Joey McGuire, but we'll hear about Cody Campbell later, I'm sure. SEC scheduling, interesting time to release this. That's one thing. Very curious the timing that we said, hey, we're going to release this now. This part of the season, but the next 4 years of 3 crossover games from all the SEC teams that you're going to play every year. So I think it's kind of cool for fans. I think fans like rivalries. I don't think. We know, right? We know
we know that.
We know the rivalries and we know what they mean to college football fans. So there's a lot of crossovers. There's some omissions that I think we'll talk about too that surprised me, but there's also this is impossible to keep everybody happy. It's a 0% chance. There's too many leagues. There's too many teams now that have come in the SEC, but I do like the flavor of SEC East. I like the flavor of the Big 12. I like how the old school Big 12 and how they've kind of mixed it together and obviously you tried to keep your most important rivals, but some of the crossovers that people don't even understand how important they are to people are rivals that they also, kept in place. But we've got that. We've got the graphic that we can show. The graphic I think is really cool. Chris Lowe is the one who put it out. And
so there's an official, I think it's an official thing tomorrow, if I remember right. And so he kind of got it.
Leaked it?
I think, well, that's the interesting part that you asked. Why? Did he actually leak it sort of
to get some
purpose?
Responses or because of the day?
Maybe so there wasn't a different topic of conversation in the
SEC? Really? That's curious. Wonder what that could be.
Maybe the officiating.
Yeah, maybe not. Who knows? Yep.
No, but
yeah.
So, but it's the matchups. It's and Chris Lowe, is now with On3. Used to be with ESPN, so we do that. But it's the 3 permanent ones.
Correct.
Remember, they're going to 9, so this is only a third of the schedule. And by the way, shout out Shane in the chat. Said saw it was awesome to see Mark Rick speak at UGA for the Parkinson's fundraiser.
It was. He does the bowling event that's coming up in several weeks every year, and it's they raised over $1 million, I think, year 1. That's no doubt Shane. He is a stud. Great to see Coach Rick. Great to see him walk up there too on his own strength and just being a stud.
So what was out of these 3 permanent opponents? And if for those of you that haven't seen, if you're on Twitter, there's numerous graphics and things like that show each
the
team's
graphics
3
are really cool, by the way. I
3
like
permanent
the
teams for 4 years. Oh yeah, with each one.
Yeah, I think it's really cool how they did it.
My biggest takeaway is that they at least got each team's number 1 rival, main number 1 team, and then the rest of it, I'm just kind of it matters, but it doesn't. somebody was going to get lucky, like Tennessee, and get Kentucky and Vanderbilt, I think. And that was, if you look at maybe
That's
who
winning.
sort of won that, it's the teams that don't really win the conference traditionally, or I guess are in the race to win the conference traditionally. But outside of that, like the one that from a fan perspective and just loving the games, no LSU Bama is a permanent thing. I think that hurts.
That's by far
because that's just
one
a great game. Always a great game. And it's a fun rivalry. It's like you said, the old SEC West type stuff. But outside of that, it's a third of the schedule. All these games will be fun. Maybe at some point in those 4 years, Georgia might actually play at Texas A&M. Because it has yet to happen since they have been in the SEC, which I think is now like 13 or 14 years. So maybe that'll happen in the next 4 years. That's amazing.
I'm getting old. They've been in their league that long. I literally,
I think so.
In my head, I was like, oh, it's been 10 years, but yeah, I think if you're Tennessee, you're the winner. Like, congratulations, you definitely get the winner. You avoid Georgia. You still get Bama the third Saturday in November, but Kentucky and Vanderbilt obviously is not too bad. Who do you think got like hosed the most? Because when I look at Auburn, I'm like, you get Georgia and Bama, and then they're like, okay, you know what? Auburn's screwed.
Well, I mean,
like,
they've gotten them every year anyway.
So they're screwed. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give them Vandy. Like, I think that's kind of what they said, was like, all right, we know this sucks because you've had two of the bigger teams. And listen, it's still, the jury's still out on Bama and what they're going to be and who they're going to be moving forward. Obviously, Wes, our famous worldwide producer, Worldwide Wes, and there buried Alabama after week one and, 6 feet under. But I thought that was interesting. I thought that, Mississippi State, I was like, you got to give them Ole Miss. And then I was like, Vanderbilt and Alabama. Okay. A&M's got LSU, Missouri, and Texas. That's not fun. That's not fun at all. South Carolina, I was like, okay, it's not horrible of where Florida's at because they get Georgia, Florida, and UK, Kentucky. And South Carolina, there's a perfect example, though, about this, and then we can move on from this. But, like, Georgia and South Carolina is a good rivalry. And, like, that's a rivalry that we grew up with playing every year. And in the SEC East, and despite how good South Carolina was or wasn't, that game was always awesome. It always seemed to be close. Like, that was a fun, little rivalry game that I think that we all enjoyed watching. But with this conference expansion, there has to be things that you lose, and there has to be things. And again, it's only 4 years, and then they can kind of rotate it and mix it up and see how it went. But those are the things.
The other thing too is how quickly that can change.
Yeah.
Because of, one team gets rid of a coach, and then a year or two later, what wasn't great is now great. So it's always fluid. And it's a third of your conference games. 2/3 are still yet to be determined, and I think they do the whole thing maybe tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. But it's for fans. This is for fans, and hey, this is the team that I'm going to be seeing every year for the next 4 years, at least these teams. And the other part that stinks too is that if you're Florida or Georgia and Florida, if you're Oklahoma, Texas, you already knew it was a neutral site game, and you're just getting confirmed that it's a neutral site game, that sort of stuff. I mean, the fact that it's the timeline of 4 years, does that make it that it's going to happen to where there's 20 or 24 teams?
Remember,
in the league?
After this year, the Big Ten, and the SEC run the sport, and the changes will come, and they'll decide basically what's going to happen with the future of college football. So it's going to be super, super interesting. And I think we all think there's as much parity as we've ever seen, which is crazy. So, like, the power is going to go to the two that are making the most money, the two most talented leagues. But man, oh man, it's definitely crazy to watch football and say, like, this is definitely a year where there's a bunch of really good teams again, and I don't know who's going to win it. Like, I don't even know who's the best team in the country. Like, we can have a legit debate right now, and usually by this time of the year, we're like, oh, I think so and so is the best, or so and so is the best, and I think there's plenty of balance, and there's a team in each conference that you're afraid of, at least, which is really cool.
And the other part, the last thing for me with the SEC stuff is that hopefully they use strength of how good these teams are one year, use it to project forward, kind of even out the schedule as best as possible, where you don't get a situation like Oklahoma that has literally every ranked team on their schedule and Texas that does not. I hope it gets more balanced. But again, that's year to year. It's fluctuation with the way the portal is and the way these teams are going. But you mentioned the parity part. So earlier in the offseason, we looked at all the teams that we thought that had a legitimate chance from each of the Power Four conferences.
Well, in your words, a 9.01
non-zero chance. A non-zero chance.
chance.
Because I included Vandy
Yep.
in that group. So I wanted to sort of relook at that. We're a third of the way into the season, and see kind of where we are with that. And if you look at teams that we included initially, and then teams that maybe we didn't even talk about that are now sort of potentially still a playoff team, that's the interesting part of it. Because there's one big time one that we didn't even mention that is now squarely in the playoff conversation. And I'll start in that league. That's the ACC. So preseason, we had Clemson, Miami, Georgia Tech, SMU, Louisville, and then very fringed off the end, kind of Duke and Virginia Tech. I think you can eliminate Duke, Virginia Tech, and Clemson now.
There's no
as
think.
A potential.
They're all gone. That's easy.
They're eliminated.
They're all eliminated.
SMU was the other one that I think is definitely, even though they haven't played a conference game yet, I think they're definitely eliminated.
They go.
But so remaining teams, Miami, Georgia Tech, and Louisville that we looked at in the preseason. Who's the one that I haven't mentioned yet?
Florida State.
We did not mention Florida State.
I said Florida State would be the biggest turnaround.
Yeah, we talked about them as a league team, but we didn't talk about them as a playoff team.
No, and it's been unbelievable, and it just shows you, like, it reminds you how much the quarterback, the offensive coordinator combination, it just reminds you how much it's just when that thing is together and that thing's right, how good it can be. And and you fired coordinators. Like, there's new guys that are there that are doing a great job. But, both OC, both DC, you go in the portal. And I think with being such a portal-heavy team, you can have this from year to year. But the biggest thing is the OC and the quarterback combination has them squarely in the mix as one of the best teams in the country, not just, in the ACC.
And what's amazing, so we talked at least with Missouri when we did Something's Brewing with Missouri about how PFF Pro Football Focus has this odds to make the college football playoff based on their power ratings. So I looked at it again today. There are 37 teams with at least a 10% chance to make the college football playoff. The lowest ranked team that has that, at least on their minds, with the percentage chance, 6% chance to make the college football playoff is Florida State. They're projecting ahead at them as a kind of an 8-win team. I don't know that I see that. I think I see more than 8 wins.
Those projections suck. I can't stand the projections. FPI, like for the ESPN stuff, they suck. They're terrible. Like, I'm not looking at that crap. Like, I've never looked at that crap.
1, 2, and 3, and 4, or 1, 2, 3, and 4 for making the playoff is Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon, and Miami. So they got.
Okay. All right. And so out of that, like, are you ready to go ahead and say Georgia's in the playoff?
No,
I'm not. Ohio State, feel really good about it. Miami, feel really good about it. If you think I've already conceded and said, yeah, Georgia's in there, like, nah, bro, not a chance in Hades. No way.
I agree. So the Big 12 preseason, we had Arizona State, Baylor, Iowa State, Kansas State, TCU, Texas Tech, and Utah. And the only one that's completely gone there is Kansas State.
Utah's gone too.
So you think you would eliminate them?
Yeah, I mean, that was disturbing what I saw with their offense. Like, I thought their offense would be a little bit more explosive. I just don't think they're dynamic enough to go into a lot of these games the rest of the way and win shootouts. Now, again, maybe they can possess the football. But, that's I would say this. That's kind of prisoner of the moment. That's kind of – watching them get beat down by Texas Tech at home, like, that's, that trust me, the Big Ten one, I'll give you another one too coming up. You're fighting Illini, but
I include that. But anyway, they got Arizona State at home. They don't play Iowa State. They don't play TCU. They don't play. They do have to go to Baylor, go to Kansas. But
Yeah.
the other thing is that they played potentially the best defensive line they'll play the entire season.
Yeah,
So
and you see how they change and flex that.
struggle.
But that was discouraging.
All right, so I'll put them on the cross-off list. Two teams that I added just because I didn't want to cross them off at this point was BYU and Kansas.
Yeah.
Kansas is already 1-0 in the league.
Yep.
And maybe Missouri's just really good, and they lost to a really good Missouri team.
They are.
And they can be explosive and do things offensively. BYU.
Well, I think the biggest thing about Kansas, too, is, like, I think Kansas has more impact players on defense than I've seen them have ever. Like, in the last several years. I know they could score, and I know they could be a pain in your butt. But I think they have enough guys now that can actually get stops, that can actually get the football back to their tempo-based offense that has a quarterback that's been there for a long time that's a playmaker. So I can ride with Kansas in that league, still very much being a contender, which if you're a contender, remember, you're still in the hunt for the playoff.
Yeah, for this league, because you win this league, you're in. BYU, by the way, doesn't play a ranked team until October 25th. They've got at Colorado, West Virginia, at Arizona, then Utah, who's not currently ranked.
And they won't be undefeated until that point either. So that's
all right. So you wouldn't want to include BYU in that list?
I would not include them. No.
Okay, I'll change that because we got to keep this updated maybe every third of the season or something like that. All right, Big Ten, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, and then the I's, Illinois, Indiana, and Iowa, USC, Michigan, Nebraska. I think you can take three of those teams off: Iowa, Illinois, and Nebraska.
I mean, Nebraska lost by a field goal to Michigan. You're eliminating them. They're gone. They have no shot. Have you seen their schedule?
I mean, yes, I have, and
their schedule.
I thought that was the one game. That was the one game to me they had to win, though.
Yeah, I was encouraged. If Nebraska can clean up, obviously, listen, they got beat up in the trenches. Now they handled themselves well, minus big plays, but offensive line got eviscerated. Like, that was a problem. But Dylan Raiola stood in there and still continued to play good. They can continue. I wouldn't eliminate Nebraska yet.
They got USC at home.
Yeah,
and then at Penn State.
USC.
At Penn State.
We're gonna find out about Penn State this week.
They'd have to win some other ones. So that's
no doubt.
Okay, I'll leave them in as a maybe.
Okay,
just for you. Illinois, I think they're done. You don't get beat that bad
unless they lose by 50 and come back. Like,
they have to beat Ohio State at home. That's the only way, and win out.
Listen, Signetti, we know we're always going to get gold from him. And, like, did you know you could do this? Yeah, we watched the Duke game. That's what he said. He was like, we watched the Duke game. Like, we saw him get eviscerated by Duke up front. We thought we could do the same thing. Like, I mean, just vintage. But I think Indiana and Iowa this week will get rid of one of your eyes. And I love Iowa. I love their toughness. I love their physicality. Like, there's no way they're going to win enough games because they're not going to score enough points. But I do say this, like, if you don't watch and you don't like football, and listen, I'm a trench guy. I love trenches. Their offensive line is good, man. Like, their offensive line is physical. Yes. Like,
yes, very much
they're
so.
a bunch of big space-eating movers. Like, they're running backs. They got a bunch of them, and including Gronowski, who can also run the football. Like, they can shorten games. And, their defense finally got a turnover last week against Rutgers, which was a good sight to see, and played a little bit better. They made they made a big passing play, a little slot fade late in the game that really helped them. So maybe Iowa has a chance against Indiana defensively with that zone and the way they stay back. But it's more like Mary Swansonite.
Yeah. So you're telling me there's a chance. I'm going to keep off Iowa. One that I didn't that I added that we didn't discuss in the preseason was Washington, just because we haven't seen anybody play anyone, and we know they can score. Like, those three, the quarterback, running back, receiver, Boston Coleman.
They're a better trio
Williams,
in the country. It's debatable.
That's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Coleman's been just a joy to watch run the football, and we get to see it this week against Ohio State. So I added them as a potential.
They struggled. They struggled last week, and in a couple of weeks they've been scoring 70. Yeah, they've been all right.
SEC, we included every team except for Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Kentucky, and then I added Vanderbilt as a non-zero chance. I think we can eliminate South Carolina and Florida from contention. So that leaves
gone.
6, 7, 9, 10, 11 of the 16 still.
I'm about to say there's 16 in the league.
12 if you include 12 if you include Vandy.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I think a good debate would literally be like, yes, the SEC is 100,000,000% the best league in college football. It's not even close from top to bottom from competitiveness, but we're going to see at the top if their top is as good as the Big Ten. Like I think obviously a big showdown this week too with Oregon and Penn State that helps us figure out what the top looks like in the Big Ten.
Yes, and Jag, just a guy with the dog face. That Washington offense is legit. We get to see it this week against Ohio State. You want me to make you mad again with the predictions piece for PFF?
Sure.
Current playoff odds: Vanderbilt 27%, Oklahoma 24%.
Well, I get where they're coming from. It's a
projection
mathematical equation of who you're playing, but like, no, it's not, because in the end, mathematics are going to play a part of this. But just like what you see with the rankings, there's also going to come in common sense and people that have to vote. So I understand that, but like in the end, it's also human beings, not computers, that are voting, which is we're thankful for. I'm thankful for. Some people get pissed, but I'm extremely thankful that the computers are still there.
And then lastly, the group of five, we had Boise, Tulane, Memphis, Navy, UNLV, James Madison, and Liberty, which, by the way, Liberty is, I think, 1-3 now. They're gone. Memphis is the clear leader. The only other add, I think, is maybe North Texas, the way they've played.
Yeah,
and some of their schedule.
They won in OT. They were up by 17, blew a 17-point lead, and then won in OT. Thank goodness for them, like 4-0. So, yeah, they're absolutely in it.
All right, so in terms of total number, we had 43 based upon our back and forth there. Now, if I leave in Nebraska, that's 39 teams still eligible to be in the college football playoff from our estimation. And like I said, 37 with greater than 10%, according to PFF. The point you just made about the SEC, it was a great sort of YouTube poll that was there. So thanks for those of you that are interacting on YouTube. Like Tyrell, 8096. SEC is college football. Just check the ratings. Because the question was, which conference has been the best conference in college football this year, SEC or Big Ten? And it's depth, SEC, easy to me. Top of the heap, it might still be the Big Ten, unfortunately, for the SEC.
I think we'll find out.
Yeah.
It's also interesting, you have the Texas and Ohio State. Ohio State was at home. And as much as we point to Arch and not doing his job and not looking good and looking overwhelmed, they barely lost the football game. Barely lost it. So
7-point game.
And Kane's Cats had Heat in the chat, 305 for the 305. He said all that matters is the championship. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's all that determines what the best conference is. But the Big Ten can absolutely say they got the last two national champions.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to go like the 15 before that, it's a little different animal, or 20 before that. But
all right, so all this playoff talk.
Yeah.
I think it's time to look at your playoff.
Yeah, let's do it. I put this together today, and I love this. I love when you do this exercise and you start to rank people, because I think you start to realize how hard it is to do. Like, it's very easy to critique. It's very easy to say, why is so-and-so not ranked? Why is so-and-so not number one? But when you start to do it yourself, it becomes a lot more difficult to me. But number one team in the country, I have Miami. I have Miami as the Notre Dame win, USF and Florida. They beat both of them by 19 plus. Like, to me, they're 4-0, an extra game. Like, I've got Miami at the number one spot. Ohio State, I've got at the 2 spot. Obviously, they beat Texas, but they played Grambling State, which was a nothing. It was 70-0. The Ohio game was actually somewhat competitive. If you watch that game, it was it was like a 13-9 score in the third quarter. It was a good game before the talent obviously won out and they ran away with it. So I have Ohio State at 2, and you can see the bracket if you're on YouTube with us. I got OU at 3. I think some people might say that's too high. I don't agree with it. Obviously, they're 4-0. 24-13 win at Michigan, 24-17 win at Auburn. Obviously, those are two really good football teams. Here's what I'll say though, Brent. They did both of them at home. And
you said at, so make sure you clear that up. Those are both home games.
Those are both at home, yeah. And so I'll be judging that with Oklahoma, moving forward, because I do want to see them go on the road. Again, it's the hardest thing in football to me to do. And when you're doing this, it's resume, it's what have you done, but it's also that's subject to week, because otherwise you'd have LSU a lot higher on this list, but you continue to see Clemson, and that counts, right? Like that falls off of a cliff as we learn more and more, and then that's where you have to use the eye test as well. So that's kind of the criteria I use for this. I got FSU at 4, and I think that's probably too high for some people, but slap down Bama 31-17, like that's one of the best, most impressive wins in the country. And they've outscored their other two opponents 143-13. Like, it ain't been close. The games were over as soon as they started. So, like, I have no problem with FSU with the big win.
They're like the Titans. They're like the North Dakota Titans.
Yeah, I mean, taking care of business. Like, they've done everything that they've needed to do. 5, I got UGA. And so I think the at Tennessee win is one of the most impressive wins. Now, with that, it's a huge win. Also comes the defense didn't play great. The offense played a lot better than we thought. Are they more complete than we thought? So that's an interesting team, to me, to rank moving forward and to have them ahead of LSU, because I'm more impressed at the Tennessee than I am at Clemson. Like, the LSU was a great win at Clemson, but was it as good as we thought now? I don't think so. Like, I don't think it's near as good as we thought. Florida 20-10, they got 5 picks and they won the football game. That's all that matters, but there's legit concerns about their offense. So I don't have LSU maybe as high as others. How am I doing so far?
I think you're doing really good. And so I've looked at what you've done, the totality of what you've done. We have the same exact teams. I did it on my own and wrote it down. We have at least the same 11, the same first 11, just in a different order.
Okay.
Like for me, I had Ohio State at 1, Miami at 2. Just because to me, Ohio State is 1 until they're not. For me personally, just because of the players with combined of them handling their business until they don't. Now that might change this weekend. That might change a lot this weekend. They're going to struggle at Washington. Okay, then we might need to flip that. I had Georgia 3, mainly because of the road win, and then I had A&M above Oregon because of the road win. Like when you go at Notre Dame, Oregon really hasn't beaten much really of anyone. Outside of that, I had the same 11.
Well, and we didn't get to finish for everybody that's listening, which I think is good.
Oh yeah, the finish is good.
So Oregon, the next seeded team, and the thing that's about Oregon, I got them at 7. They haven't played anybody that gives them any kind of credit. They're scoring over 50 a game. They've been dominant. I believe what I've seen. I believe in their coach. So that's where I got them ahead of Penn State. Penn State, 4-0, kind of on cruise control. But we'll see this week, right? Like, we get to see those two teams. Yeah. And whoever wins that game immediately is going to get a huge bump. And I think if Oregon wins this game, they get a bigger bump. Going to Penn State, taking care of business will be very interesting to watch. Yeah, then I got A&M, which – 41-40 win, Notre Dame. They haven't looked crisp. They haven't looked like a team that's hammering people. So I'm okay with them sliding down a little bit, but giving up 24 to UTSA. I think they gave up 22 to Utah State. Like it's so that's Notre Dame win is a good win to me. And again, some people think Notre Dame shouldn't be ranked. I would argue that they've got a combined 4-point total points and losses into both the top 10 teams. It's not near as bad as it looks. Indiana rounding out with number 11. Indiana, sluggish week 1 against ODU. Since that point, Brent, 192-19 they've outscored opponents.
Yeah, Indiana's 10. You got Indiana at 10.
Indiana at 10. 192-19. Like, I'm not a great mathematician. That's belt bottom, yes.
That's belt
and
to ours.
How about 11? Another team from the state of Texas. Texas Tech, the Red Raiders. After that, you belt meet bottom with Utah. 24-point win at Utah. Domination the first 3 weeks against lesser opponents. So
speaking of Texas, by the way,
yeah,
I kind of see one team from the state of Texas that is a big one that's not there.
North Texas? Yeah, they didn't make it. They might make it, though.
Memphis has the 12th spot over North Texas.
Yeah, I'm going to say North Texas might
point.
still make it. I should have done that, actually. I should have put another Texas team in there.
That would have been good.
My 12th ranked team is Texas. My number 12 team for the playoffs, you don't get to do that. Remember, like a group of 5 has to go in. So I would have to put Memphis in right now, and you can flip a coin if you really wanted to. But Memphis, the win at Arkansas, the beating Arkansas, obviously hosting Arkansas was a big deal. Like that's a big win. They found a way to eke that out. And Tulane got throttled this past week. So, and you actually have the comparables because Arkansas played Ole Miss the week before. Like, so that's definitely, something that you can also see. But Memphis is in, and they're not one of the top 12 teams in the country, but they'd be in the playoff, and that's all that matters.
And that's why I still don't like it. But just in terms of fun, if this were happening today, you get Georgia, Memphis, where the coach just called out Kirby.
That's kind of why I picked. That's kind of why I picked Memphis too, because he just called out Kirby, and in this case, he would get him and destroy him. Hey, Brad Newell,
some fun other matchups.
Kane's most overrated team in college football. Couldn't disagree more, Bradley. Mr. Brad, I could not disagree more. Lines of scrimmage are as dominant on both sides of the ball as anybody in the country. Keep hating on the Canes, keep hating on the U, and they'll keep doing what they're supposed to do.
You have a Heisman vote, right? Don't you?
Yes, sir, I do.
Would Ruben Bain be on that list right now for you?
I don't care because it doesn't matter right now. Like I'm so tired. What a waste of it. What a waste of space to talk about the Heisman votes right now. Like he's been dominant. I've seen all the stuff that people are putting out. Everybody's cherry picking off of it. I see it. Like I don't understand that right now. But like John Mateer would be, number one for me so far from what I've seen. But
that's all that matters. I was just curious. If
Tommy would be in there from FSU from what he's able to do from an excitement standpoint. Like that was as good as it gets. Bo Perbula has put up some stupid stats. Like it's been so be some kind of some cool cast of characters though. I do like that.
If you haven't, just in case you haven't heard, it's a really big weekend in college football. There are some. And by the way, that's a fun exercise. I think maybe another 4 weeks go by. Or when's the actual, I can't remember when the actual rankings, the first playoff rankings. Maybe we need to do that right before the first ones come out just to see if yours match with the actual playoff rankings. But that's fun just to look at the matchups because like even Georgia, if they beat Memphis, they would have to play Florida State in your bracket right there. Yeah. After what happened a couple years ago in the bowl game. Oof. That would be a fun sort of rematch in a way. But all right, so November 4th is the when we start getting rankings. Yep. So we'll do it another time before then. But yeah, big weekend. Just a tad of college football games. 3 major matchups. So we're going to talk about those 3 big matchups first. And I want to paint a picture for this first game.
Okay.
LSU at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a 2.5-point favorite. The last I looked. So Leah comes up to you next year.
Leah's my daughter, by the way. She's 15.
Yeah, Dave's daughter, Leah. She comes up to you before the Oconee game. So you coach for North Oconee. Oconee is the cross-county rival. She comes up to you for the Oconee game, right with the week of, and says, "Dad, my new boyfriend is the starting middle linebacker for Oconee." How are you feeling about that?
I'm putting a bounty out on that sucker.
Because that's what we got today.
Oh,
I mean, I know it's social media galore, but
it doesn't matter.
That's so hilarious. Like Lane Kiffin's daughter, for those of you that don't know and haven't looked, Lane Kiffin's daughter, I think Landry is her name.
Yeah.
She posted a picture, and I guess Whit Weeks, who is LSU's linebacker, and by the way, from Oconee County, right down the road from us.
Oh yeah.
Is her man, evidently.
So getting some more juice in this game, which is what we need.
That's calculated. there is a 1,000,000% reason. Like, did Lane tell her, "Hey, do this"? so I don't have to answer who my starting quarterback is. Let me just answer questions about you and your boyfriend. No one asked me about the starting quarterback. I mean,
we're going to ask him about it. We're going to ask him who his starting quarterback is when he comes on.
Does he line up in the I formation and put like a 280-pound fullback in and run ISO first play of the game just to run at Weeks? Like, it's just,
hey,
it's so fun.
I think that's fun. Like, obviously, it's not going to be a part of the story, but when you think about these two rivals, LSU and Ole Miss, they've played 22 times. What do you think the record is in those games? Just
pretty close to even. I would 12-10.
11, 10, and 1. Yeah. Like, these games,
and they're exciting games.
Typically been exciting, fun, high scoring. They definitely are games that are close. Obviously the proximity to each other is awesome. Lane brings so much excitement. Brian Kelly and Lane Kiffin are 2 of 3 active head coaches with 100 FBS wins. Like, these are 2 successful coaches at a lot of stops. Engineers of what they do, like that's who they are and what they are. So it's going to be fun to watch who can dial up what. Whose offense is looking explosive. Lane with a chance to have the quarterback type of matchup. Like, Lane in his element with his acumen, because Lane's one of the best play callers in all of college football, against a defense that we've seen has kicked the crap out of everybody, bro. Like, they have been unbelievable, not giving up explosive plays, not giving up anything, man, just owning their opponents. And now, like, that matchup we get to see live, and I just think it's going to be toe-to-toe, blow for blow. It's the game we're not talking about. We're not going to talk about probably enough this week, but you're going to turn it on and you're going to be like, this is freaking awesome. What's going to win? Great defense that used to win games or great offense?
I'm going to give you some numbers. You talked about LSU's defense, and numbers, by the way, that are brought to you by Pro Football Focus. There's a promo code in the link. Get Ball 25. You can get 25% off a PFF Plus subscription. Get all access to all this data, all of this data that I'm showing. But you mentioned about LSU's defense. Don't throw at Mansour Delane.
No.
He's an 89.4 coverage grade. He's 4 catches on 18 targets for only 36 yards. He has an interception and 4 pass breakups. If you throw at anyone else, the completion percentage for the other team throwing at anyone but him is 73%. And it's 4 out of 18 throwing at him. So my guess is that Lane Kiffin will design offense that avoids that guy and attacks other guys, no matter who plays quarterback. Which quarterback do you think should play?
I don't think it's debatable.
I don't think it is
Trinidad.
either.
It's Trinidad to me. 307 yards last week, 112 rushing. I mean, he's got some moxie, some savvy. I think I love his demeanor. It's kind of calm and cool, and he's not a big guy whatsoever, but he doesn't get flustered. He can throw the ball on time. He can throw it in rhythm. And I think the second element to it is, like, I think you can trust him because of the experience. Remember, he won a Division II national championship, and played a ton of football, man. Like, he's not like a flash in the pan. But his running ability really gives you an advantage, and you need that versus LSU. And Simmons, whether he's coming back now or later in the season, regardless, if you got a high ankle sprain, bro, you ain't yourself for a long time. Like, it takes a long time. And here's the thing, too. If he was completely healthy, it'd still be a debate, because Trinidad has been absolutely flawless. He's been so good running and throwing, and I think he makes this offense more dangerous to stop. So I don't think there's a decision, and I do think Lane dials up ball plays as well as anybody, and I think it's going to be nice to have a guy that has so much experience and poise.
You want me to give you some numbers to back up your decision? Or let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So PFF, we have all these quarterback metrics under the sun. Any sort of thing you can think about from the quarterback position. How many do you think that Austin Simmons, either grade, completion percentage, yards per attempt, anything that you can think of, how many do you think that Austin Simmons is better at than Trinidad?
He's throwing more interceptions. No. He's throwing more interceptions.
If that's your definition of better, then yes, that is correct. He is better at throwing it to the other team. He's better at throwing it to the other team. But Other than
No,
that,
he's not better. He's not better
every
at
grade,
anything.
every situation, everything
No.
you look at, Trent has
Timing,
better, and by a significant amount.
rhythm, reading, running,
Deep ball.
like deep ball in
He's 8 of
between
10.
safeties and corners. Like it's
And the point
impressive
you
to
made-
watch, man.
The point you made a little bit ago is hit the poise. He looks like he has the offense so much more under control.
Yeah,
Just does. All right.
he looks
so
good for sure.
My early lean home team, by the way, on that one.
All right.
Next game, 2 night games, side by side, 2 boxing this, 2 TVs, however you want to do it. One is Bama at Georgia. Do we get a repeat of last year's insanity, at least from a points perspective? Maybe not the type of game flow, but from a points perspective.
I'm gonna give you a couple stats. And, I'll probably just repeat myself in this show when we do all of our picks. But Kirby Smart has 19 career losses as a head coach. 6 are to Alabama. 6. Like, that's a big deal. Like, and 4 of those 6 are by 7 points or fewer, like close. But
only 2 of them in the regular season, right?
Yeah, but Georgia's allowed Georgia's allowed a lot of points to Alabama. They've scored on them well as anybody that faces them. There's a lot of numbers the other way with Kalen DeBoer at home, but the home winning streak for Georgia very much in jeopardy. 33 straight games at home. It's a huge advantage. One of the best crowds. The last time we saw Ty Simpson go on the road, he looked very mortal. He looked very human. Since then, that sucker had 20 incompletions in the FSU game. He's got 5 since, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Kirby in
total.
his press conference called him probably the hottest quarterback in college
He
football
has
right now.
been on fire. But we've talked about Georgia has a Bama problem. Like, those are some numbers to articulate that. Like, Aguilar, you saw him have success, make some plays with some weapons that he has. Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, like Alabama's got some weapons as well. So I think this is going to be a game that you said over 30. Yeah, I think somebody's getting over 30 for sure. One of the two is getting over 30. It's just a matter of which one can continue to make big plays.
Alabama has a road problem too.
They do.
And this is a road night game.
Yeah.
And Georgia I think I saw that Georgia hasn't lost a night game at home since 2009. That's a good long while that has happened. But the most important part of this game to me is first down. Last year against Georgia, Alabama had 392 of their 551 yards on first down, 71%. Milroe was 14 of 15 for 288, and the one touchdown, which was to Ryan Williams, the ender one, was on first down. They knew how to attack Georgia early. And can they change that? Can they have they maybe adjusted some of the things they do defensively? Which team can run the ball? There's so many angles to this game, but that one thing, does Georgia have success on first down against Bama?
Which team can protect the ball or protect their QB? Like,
yes,
both of these QBs have not been like the most safe quarterbacks in the pocket. Like, Ty Simpson was running for his flipping life against FSU. Like,
yes.
There was a couple of times I thought it was a screen. I'm like, surely that's a screen, right? They let all 3 of those guys go. Like, they're going to throw it behind him. But then you saw the offensive lineman chasing him. I'm like, oh, Shiznick, that's not a screen. That's just piss poor. So, in Georgia, we've seen them struggle against Tennessee. So this might come down to good old school coaching. Like, which coach has their guys ready more than the others? And I think everybody would lean Kirby in that department, but DeBoer has weapons. DeBoer has a QB that I really like. I know everybody left him for dead, but everybody will be back on him because he's not a bad player. He's a really, really good player. Both sides have a lot of weapons. Both sides' defenses have struggled to get to the quarterback. So, yeah, I think over 30 is a pretty good bet. And that's not what you would have said 10 years ago when you had Georgia playing Bama.
And DeBoer's been really good against ranked teams in the big games in his last few stops. And Joe says Kirby lost to Nick. We also lost to DeBoer last year, so
yeah,
it's not just one. The other night game, Oregon at Penn State, whiteout, so right? Is it? I'm assuming it's going to be
100% a whiteout. Yeah. Well, they that stinks with them because like. It's usually the noon game now, so it takes away. They get one whiteout a year, so this is the whiteout, and it's not a surprise why this game would be the whiteout. I mean, you need the whiteout. Like, and here's the thing for me, this is a big day for the Ducks because the Ducks have been walking around this league like they're like in the boxing ring, the Ducks, and they like walking around and they're just like this with their chin out, like their hands are down. And they're just kind of walking around like, yeah. Like they've owned this league in the regular season. They haven't lost a game. They're going to Penn State with all the experience at all the right spots. Now you got one of the best defensive coordinators in college football, the best 1-2 punch, one of the best atmospheres in all of college football with the whiteout. And if they walk in there with 18 new starters, a bunch of new guys, a bunch of inexperience, and they take care of business, man, oh man, are we going to be saying, holy cow, like, look at what Dan Lanning just did, because that is as impressive as it gets if you can walk into Beaver Stadium and make a statement on Saturday night.
Have you seen, and I agree, and you could also add Big Ten championship to that. They did, it was the playoff that they lost to Ohio State, so they took care of business in the regular season and the championship game.
They gave up 35 in that championship game, and both Singleton and Allen had 100 yards rushing. So that's not like it was not domination in the Big Ten. If I'm watching the Big Ten championship game, I'm feeling pretty good about myself if I'm Penn State because I ran the football really well, and that's a lot of retooling on the other side of the football for Oregon. And we've seen small glimpses. They played Northwestern and Oregon State. I get it, broski. Like, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying I've seen small cracks in the armor that you go, okay, well, that might be a problem later on down the road with somebody can take advantage of it.
Have you seen their new pass rusher for Penn State, the freshman kid?
He's a freak. He's an
Chaz
absolute
Coleman.
freak. And they talked about him before the season, man. And they talked about how freaky he was. Like, that they always find these guys, dude. Like, we could just keep going back. I mean, every single year. And, last year it was Abdul Carter. It was Chop Robinson. It was Micah Parsons. Like, it's a lineage. Like, they find those guys, and it's crazy that – and they've got some guys that can disrupt in the trenches as well as anybody in the country. Year after year after year, they find those guys.
We're going to spend a whole lot more time on all three of these games when we do the picks.
We will.
But we have to kind of end it like we normally end it on a Monday night with who won the weekend.
It's time to get in the victory formation, guys. Good show so far. Don't really have many critiques, so somehow you've actually pulled off a good show.
Wow,
good job.
We didn't screw it up. That's kind of like your dad after a game just being like, hey, guys, I mean, you didn't screw it up. Like, thanks.
Thanks. I am glad I'm here, though, because y'all have, like, really slandered my name with this Alabama playoff elimination the past 3 shows, and I haven't been able
Have we
to
said
join
anything
in.
that's untrue, Wesley?
No, but I did do it. I did do it.
Yeah.
But you guys take that exercise way more seriously than me. All right, the weekend winners, victory formation. For me, it starts in Miami, where the Canes did this. In the locker room after beating the Gators. This is from Wesley B. Jr. That's my son. His Instagram story, y'all want some Gator. I love that, man. Eating Gator. I don't know if y'all have tried it. Actually, David, I know you have.
It's
Brent,
disgusting.
have you had
No, I've never actually had Gator.
Don't
Gator?
do it.
It tastes like
It doesn't taste like chicken?
and fish.
No, it tastes like chicken mixed with booty is what it tastes like. It don't taste like nothing good, that's for sure.
I don't want to know how you know that, but this is a really cool celebration for the Canes, the number 1 Canes, the U, eating Gator in the locker room. That was pretty sweet. All right, who y'all got?
I'll go so you can finish it up, Davey. To me, it's Cody Campbell. When you just know that
Cody Campbell or his
faced
checking account?
both, all the above, because it's savings, checking, just cash, bags of cash, whatever he has.
That's just cash.
It's just cash. Whatever he's got, he's spending on a new D-line, and that new D-line dominated quite possibly one of the better offensive lines in the country. And when you know that you spend all that money and you actually got guys that are coming through, that just makes it that much sweeter for him. So to me, Cody Campbell.
Nice return on investment. You could go Texas Tech, period.
Yes.
Handling that atmosphere, that with a backup QB, Will comes in the game, starts spinning.
Who might need to be their starter.
Yeah, you're right. He might need to be. But I'm going to go Memphis. Walking in Memphis, baby. Big week for Memphis. Like watching some of your cohorts take a dive, specifically Tulane. UNLV almost followed suit. They tried their dangdest to screw it up. UNLV. Because
Miami of Ohio.
Tried it. Yes, they tried with a pick six and a kickoff return. They gave it away. They tried to give up a field goal late, and Miami of Ohio couldn't capitalize. But Memphis looking like a group of 5 team with North Texas and UNLV that we'll keep paying attention to. All right, Wesley. Where do they find us?
Right.
Where do they like, rate, subscribe, punch, all of that fun stuff to help us stay on the airwaves, baby?
It's amazing what you think people need to do to follow the show. It's not that difficult. Just hit subscribe. If y'all have stuck with us, a lot of Canes and FSU fans in the comments tonight.
Yeah,
I
back
love
and forth.
that.
I love it.
It's been beautiful to watch. And,
hey, y'all gonna settle that in 2 weeks, baby. Y'all gonna get that done. Like that's gonna be fantastic.
Y'all come back and chat with us Wednesday. We'll be live at 8:30. And look, I know y'all can't join us live all the time, so find us wherever you listen to your audio podcast as well. If you're in the gym, driving around town, in the grocery store, whatever you got going on, listen to the show if you're up and at 'em. And appreciate y'all joining us every single Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday live right here on See Ball Get Ball. See you again on Wednesday.
Peace.